Some people mistake silence for weakness. They think if you're not loud, you're not confident. If you're not posting every move, you're not making progress. But let me tell you something real. Some of the most dangerous people in the world don't talk much at all. They're too busy building, too busy sharpening, too busy becoming. Silence isn't always hesitation. Sometimes it's preparation. See, when you're quiet, people get comfortable. They underestimate you. They think you're unsure, lost, or afraid. And that's fine. Let them think that. Because while they're busy talking about what they're going to do, you're already putting the work in. Quiet mornings, late nights, no applause, no announcements. Just discipline stacking on discipline. The loud ones announce their plans. The focused ones move differently. They don't explain themselves. They don't seek approval. They understand something most people never learn. Real power doesn't need permission, and it definitely doesn't need an audience. When you're truly locked in, words feel unnecessary. Results will do all the talking for you. Silence gives you space. Space to think clearly. Space to control your emotions. Space to move with precision instead of impulse. And when you finally do move, it's not random, it's not reckless, it's calculated, intentional, unstoppable. That's why silence makes people nervous, because they don't know what you're becoming behind it. So, if you've been quiet lately, don't rush to explain yourself. Don't lower your head. Don't apologize. Stay disciplined. Stay focused. Because when you move with skill, with purpose, with conviction, they'll understand exactly why you stayed quiet for so long. What if I told you that silence isn't the absence of strength, but proof of it? Here's the hook most people miss. Weak people explain themselves. Disciplined people don't. Silence is not fear hiding in the corner. It's control standing in the center of the room. In a world where everyone feels the need to react, respond, post, and announce, choosing silence is a form of dominance. It means you're not ruled by emotions, opinions, or the pressure to prove anything. Most people talk because they're uncomfortable with stillness. Silence forces you to sit with your thoughts, your flaws, your responsibility. And that's exactly why disciplined people respect it. They know that every word wasted is energy lost, and every emotion uncontrolled is power given away. Silence trains you. It sharpens patience. It builds emotional control. When you don't react to every provocation, you're not weak, you're strategic. You're learning to move when it matters, not when it feels good. Fear makes noise. Discipline stays quiet. Fear seeks validation. Discipline seeks progress. When you're silent, people assume you're unsure, but what they don't see is the work happening behind closed doors. Early mornings when nobody's watching. Late nights when excuses are tempting. Silent reps, silent sacrifices. That's where real confidence is built. Not in talking about goals, but in repeatedly honoring them without applause. Most people confuse confidence with volume. They think the loudest voice in the room is the strongest. But history doesn't remember noise, it remembers results. Silence allows you to observe, to learn, to understand patterns others miss because they're too busy talking. And once you understand the game, you don't need to announce your move. You just make it. That's why silence makes insecure people uncomfortable. They don't know what you're thinking. They can't predict you. They can't control you. If you're quiet right now, don't rush to prove yourself. You're not behind. You're building restraint, and restraint is power. Discipline means doing the work without the reward of recognition. It means choosing progress over praise. And if this message hits something deep in you, don't scroll past it like it didn't matter. Press like so this truth reaches someone who needs it. Share it with that one person who confuses silence with weakness, and subscribe, because what we're building here isn't motivation for one day, it's discipline for life. What if the real reason most people never become dangerous is because they reveal themselves too early? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Announcement kills momentum. The moment you start telling everyone what you're about to do, your brain feels rewarded without earning anything. That's why so many plans die at the talking stage. Discipline understands this, so it stays quiet. Silence isn't hesitation, it's incubation. It's the space where ideas mature, skills sharpen, and strength compounds. While others are chasing attention, disciplined people are chasing precision. They don't need witnesses for their growth. They need results. Being quiet gives you an advantage most people underestimate. It keeps your energy focused. Every explanation drains power. Every argument steals time. Every unnecessary reaction pulls you away from your mission. When you stop reacting to noise, you start hearing clarity. That's when your decisions get sharper and your actions become intentional. Quiet people move differently. They don't rush to prove. They don't panic when progress feels slow. They trust the process because they're actually working it. And work done in silence hits harder because nobody saw it coming. Most people crumble because they need feedback too soon. They want likes before effort, applause before mastery, recognition before results. Discipline rejects that trade. It understands that loneliness is not punishment, it's preparation. When you're building something meaningful, isolation becomes part of the price. The gym is quiet early in the morning. The grind is quiet late at night. Growth is usually quiet because noise belongs to comfort, not change. And that's why silence filters people. Only the serious can survive it. Here's the part people don't like hearing. When you stay quiet, you see who really believes in you and who only liked the idea of you. Silence removes the crowd. It exposes intentions. It forces you to rely on yourself. That's where real confidence is born. Not the loud, fragile kind that needs constant reassurance, but the grounded kind that moves with certainty. You stop explaining your pace. You stop justifying your path. You stop arguing with people who aren't building anything themselves. And when you finally move, it doesn't look like luck. It looks sudden to others, but you know the truth. It was earned in moments nobody clapped for, in choices nobody saw, in discipline nobody celebrated. So if this message made you pause for even a second, don't ignore that feeling. It means you're waking up. Let it sit with you. Let it challenge you. And remember, the quiet ones aren't behind. They're loading power. What if the reason your power hasn't shown yet is because it's still being forged under pressure? Most people break when things get heavy, but disciplined minds are built exactly there. Point number 3 is simple, but uncomfortable. Pressure is not the enemy, comfort is. Pressure exposes who you really are. When expectations rise, when responsibility hits, when nobody is cheering anymore, that's when discipline either shows up or disappears. Anyone can feel confident when life is easy. The real test is who you become when it's hard, silent, and uncertain. That's where dangerous people are made. See, pressure forces focus. It removes excuses. It doesn't allow you to hide behind talent or talk. Under pressure, you either execute or you fail. And disciplined people love that environment because it tells the truth. While others complain about stress, disciplined minds convert stress into structure. They wake up earlier. They sharpen their habits. They cut distractions. They stop negotiating with comfort. Pressure doesn't weaken them, it organizes them. That's why calm people in chaos are always the most powerful ones in the room. Most people run from pressure because it makes them feel exposed. They're afraid of finding out they're not ready. Disciplined people already know they're not ready, and that's why they train. They don't wait to feel confident before stepping up. They step up to build confidence. Pressure teaches speed, clarity, and courage. It teaches you how to make decisions without overthinking. It teaches you how to stand alone without falling apart. And over time, that pressure shapes a presence that doesn't need to speak loudly to be respected. Here's what makes this point viral, worthy. Pressure creates identity. When you repeatedly show up underweight, your mind starts trusting you. You stop doubting your ability to handle hard things. You stop panicking when situations tighten. That's when silence becomes intimidating, because people can feel that you're unshakable, not emotional, not reactive, not desperate for approval, just steady, just ready. And readiness is always louder than noise. If you're still watching this, that means you're not scared of the truth. So do this. Don't just listen, commit. If this message hits you somewhere deep, press the like button like you're locking this mindset in. Share this video with someone who thinks pressure is breaking them, not building them. And subscribe to the channel, not for motivation, but for reminders when discipline feels heavy and silence feels lonely. Because this space is for people who don't fold under pressure. They rise inside it. What if the real reason you stay quiet isn't fear, but preparation? Most people mistake silence for weakness because they don't understand what's happening beneath it. Point number 4 is this: silence is not absence, it's accumulation. While others announce their plans, explain their moves, and seek validation, disciplined people are stacking skills, sharpening focus, and building strength where no one is watching. Silence is where clarity grows. Silence is where ego dies. And when ego dies, execution becomes deadly. Look around and you'll notice something powerful. The loudest people are often the least consistent. They talk to feel important. They post to feel seen. They explain because they want reassurance. But the quiet ones, they don't need permission. They don't need applause. They understand that energy leaks through unnecessary words. Every explanation drains focus. Every announcement invites doubt. Silence protects momentum. That's why the most dangerous moves are always the ones nobody saw coming. Here's the part most people miss. Silence builds patience, and patience builds timing. When you learn to move without talking, you learn to wait without quitting. You stop rushing results. You stop forcing recognition. You let your growth mature. And when it's time to move, you don't hesitate because you've already rehearsed it 1,000 times in your head and 1,000 times in your habits. That's why silent people look calm when everything is on the line. They've already faced the battle privately. This is also why silence feels uncomfortable at first. Your ego wants to speak. It wants credit before results. It wants to be seen trying. Discipline says no. Discipline says, let the results introduce you. Let the outcome speak your name. Let people be surprised, because surprise is power. And power doesn't need to explain itself. It just shows up and shifts the room. If this is making sense, pause for a second and really feel it. If you've ever been underestimated because you stayed quiet, that wasn't a curse. It was training. So if this message connected with you, hit the like button, not for me, but as a promise to yourself that you'll stop explaining and start executing. Share this video with someone who thinks silence means falling behind. And subscribe to the channel if you're building something quietly and you're ready for the moment when your results speak louder than any words ever could. What if the most powerful move you can make right now is the one nobody knows about yet? That's the final truth most people never realize. Real strength isn't loud, it's controlled. Point number 5 is simple, but uncomfortable. The people who stay quiet aren't inactive, they're intentional. They choose restraint over reaction. While others respond emotionally, they respond strategically. And that's self-control. That's what separates potential from power. Most people talk because silence makes them nervous. Silence forces you to sit with your thoughts, your flaws, your doubts. Talking becomes an escape, but the ones who are becoming dangerous don't escape. They stay, they listen. They observe patterns others miss. They learn who's real, who's temporary, and who doesn't need to be part of the next chapter. Silence sharpens awareness. And awareness is a weapon when used correctly. Here's the hook. Nobody tells you movement without noise creates shock. When you announce your plans, people prepare for them. When you stay quiet, you stay unpredictable. And unpredictability is leverage. That's why the strongest transformations are the ones that come out of nowhere. One day people see you the same way they always have, and the next day they realize you've outgrown every room you used to beg to be accepted in. That kind of growth doesn't come from talking about change. It comes from living it in private. Silence also builds emotional discipline. When you stop explaining yourself, you stop needing approval. When you stop defending your path, you start trusting it. That's when confidence becomes unshakable, not because you're loud, but because you're aligned. You don't react to disrespect, you outgrow it. You don't argue with doubt, you outwork it. And that's when people start feeling your presence before you even say a word. If this message hits something deep, don't scroll past it like it was just another video. Press the like button as a signal that you're choosing discipline over noise. Share this with someone who's tired of being misunderstood but refuses to be broken. And subscribe to the channel if you're ready to move differently. Grow quietly and let the results do the talking, because the most dangerous people in the room are never the loudest ones. They're the ones who waited, prepared, and moved when the moment was undeniable.